Jokic, let me tell y'all something. This dude is so good, man. Straight up. Like, I haven't seen anything like him.
With Joker, he understands basketball so well. I'm gonna go middle, right? He don't need to know where his player is because they already understand the lane, right?
I hope they make a trade. You cannot waste a Joker's career. He is the best player in the world.
They won a championship.
I know, but he's like they could win again.
Giannis, Embiid, Joker. Of those three, who is the toughest to guard?
Joker.
Nikola Jokić has earned that kind of praise because he's doing things at the center position that simply weren't supposed to be possible. And when someone like Kevin Garnett, one of the fiercest competitors in NBA history, starts putting him in conversations with all-time great big men, it carries real weight, since Kilogram built his reputation on intensity, defense, and all-around dominance. Yet even he recognizes that Jokić is redefining the position through vision, patience, and control of tempo, rather than raw athleticism, which is why comparisons to legends like Larry Bird also start to surface. Not because they play the same role, but because they share that rare ability to see the game a step ahead of everyone else, manipulate defenses effortlessly, and elevate teammates through pure basketball IQ, making Jokić not just dominant statistically, but historically unique in how he influences winning.
Like what he's doing in our league is just, he's ripping the records apart. I think, Pete, they showed a stat where he's had a triple-double on every team in the league. Bro, right now, Joker's more dominant than Will Chamberlain right now, Lord. Damn. They got some taking him over Shaq. They got some taking Joker over Will or Shaq.
Scottie Pippen, widely known as Michael Jordan's right-hand man during the Chicago Bulls dynasty, built his legacy on elite defense, versatility, and a team-first mindset, and since retiring has transitioned into a vocal analyst who isn't afraid to share strong opinions about today's game, which makes his perspective on modern stars, especially unique talents like Nikola Jokić, particularly interesting because when a player with Pippen's defensive pedigree and championship experience praises someone, it usually reflects a deep respect for how that player impacts winning beyond just scoring.
That guy is the best player in basketball. He the best player. Ain't no doubt about it. Ain't nothing you can do.
That's what makes Nikola Jokić so unique. He doesn't just dominate individually. He makes the game easier for everyone around him. And when a scorer like Tracy McGrady, who built a career on creating offense by himself, says Jokić would be his ideal teammate, that's huge praise because it highlights how rare it is to find a superstar who can control the game without needing to dominate the ball every possession, using elite vision, timing, and unselfishness to elevate others, which is why many players across eras respect him not just for his stats, but for how effortlessly he blends individual brilliance with team success.
Let me tell y'all something. This dude is so fucking good, man. Straight up. Like, I haven't seen anything like him. Where he passes. You got a 7'1" center bringing up the ball, initiating the offense. It is amazing. The passes that he makes from one side of the court to the other, on time and on target, the bounce passes in between defenses, he is amazing. He, like, if there was the one guy I would want to play with, I would love to play with. He's a problem. He's like Jason Kidd as a point guard. Like, those guys don't have to score to affect the game.
What makes James Worthy's perspective so powerful is that he's seen greatness up close, playing alongside legends like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Magic Johnson on the Los Angeles Lakers. So when he puts Nikola Jokić in that kind of conversation, it's not hype, it's experience talking. Because Worthy understands what elite basketball IQ, unselfishness, and winning impact actually look like at the highest level. And by comparing Jokić to players like Magic in terms of playmaking and Kareem in terms of control and efficiency, is essentially saying that Jokić blends multiple all-time qualities into one player, which is why so many legends see him not just as dominant for this era, but as someone whose style and impact translate across any era of basketball.
To me, he's Magic and Kareem on the floor at the same time. He's a guard, he makes great decisions, hell of a pass, and then when he wants to be Kareem, he goes down and dominates. So he's a special player that does a lot of things, and your antennas have to be up.
That's exactly why Jerry West's praise carries so much weight. He's not just a legend from the Los Angeles Lakers era. He's literally the logo, a symbol of basketball excellence. And when someone with that level of understanding highlights Nikola Jokic's instincts and IQ, it reinforces what makes Jokić so different from most modern stars. Because in a league built on speed, explosiveness, and athletic dominance, Jokic is winning with timing, anticipation, and decision-making, reading defenses. Like a chess master and consistently making the correct play, which not only makes him nearly impossible to scheme against, but also elevates everyone around him, proving that elite basketball intelligence can be just as powerful, if not more, than raw athleticism.
Jokic is a joke. You watch him play, you look at him, and everyone's talking about, well, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. If you watch him around the basket, he absolutely will shoot the ball, touch it, and catch it on the other side before these guys move. That tells you how good he really is. He's got an incredible instinct to play the game, but I watch him being interviewed and stuff. This guy's got the right stuff.
That's what makes Chauncey Billups' perspective so valuable. He's not only an NBA champion with the Detroit Pistons, but also a former point guard and now a coach for the Portland Trail Blazers. So when he talks about passing and court vision, he's speaking from deep experience. And his point about Nikola Jokic isn't just that he's an elite passer for a center, but that he's one of the best passers in basketball, period. Which completely changes how defenses have to approach him. Because you're not just guarding a big man in the post. You're dealing with a primary playmaker who can read the floor like a point guard, manipulate defenders, and create high-quality shots for teammates in ways very few players in NBA history ever have.
I think he's the best passer I've ever seen, excluding no position. He's the best I've ever seen passing.
What makes praise from LeBron James so meaningful is that he's faced nearly every type of superstar over 2 decades. So when he highlights Nikola Jokic's passing and team-first approach, it reflects a deep understanding of what actually drives winning at the highest level, especially given his battles against Jokic while playing for the Los Angeles Lakers, where he's seen firsthand how Jokic controls entire games without relying on traditional dominance, using vision, patience, and unselfishness to dictate pace and create opportunities for everyone on the floor, which is why LeBron's comments aren't just compliments. They're recognition that Jokic's style of play fits into the same rare category of players who elevate teams, redefine roles, and leave a lasting mark on how the game is understood.
One of the best players ever played this game. That's simple. He does everything. The most important thing, he changes the way his teammates think about their own play. When you're able to inspire your teammates to play at a level that sometimes they don't even feel like they can play at, that's a true testament of what they do.
What makes the praise from Shaquille O'Neal so interesting is that he represents a complete opposite style of dominance compared to Nikola Jokic. Shaq overpowered teams with physical force, while Jokic dissected them with skill and intelligence. Yet despite that contrast, Shaq openly appreciates how effective and unique Jokic is, which says a lot about Jokic's impact on the modern game. Because for a player who wants to find what it meant to be a dominant center to embrace a completely different archetype shows just how far the position has evolved, and why Jokic's success as arguably the best player in the world is not just impressive but also meaningful for the legacy of big men in basketball.
I'm actually happy that a big man is now named the best player in the league. Listen, he plays with poise, plays with confidence, and he plays the right way. Us 3 Hall of Famers, we can appreciate that. We see a lot of guys that have a lot of talent, don't utilize their talent. This talent here just goes out, he just outworks everybody, and it's a joy to watch.
What makes JJ Redick's opinion stand out is his reputation as one of the most thoughtful and analytical minds in today's game, both during his playing career and now as head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. So when he calls Nikola Jokic the best player in the NBA, it's not just hype, it's a conclusion drawn from studying the game at a deep level. Because Redick understands how rare it is for one player to control scoring, playmaking, tempo, and team cohesion all at once. And Jokic does exactly that every night, which is why someone known for breaking down the smallest details of basketball consistently points to Jokic as a standard for greatness in the modern era.
First player ever with 30-point triple-doubles and 70% shooting in consecutive games in NBA history. No one on the planet is a better basketball player than Nikola Jokic right now.
What makes Kendrick Perkins' perspective notable is the evolution of his stance over time, especially given his background as a member of the Boston Celtics championship team in 2008, where he competed against elite big men, and understands the demands of the center position at the highest level. His current praise of Nikola Jokic, calling him one of the most skilled centers ever, carries weight not just because of his platform as a commentator, but because it reflects a shift from skepticism to recognition after years of observing Jokic's sustained dominance. Perkins' comparison of Jokic to historically great centers like Hakeem Olajuwon, Tim Duncan, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar highlights just how highly he values Jokic's all-around skill set, particularly his passing, footwork, and offensive versatility. In today's NBA, where skilled bigs like Joel Embiid, Karl Anthony Towns, and Domantas Sabonis have expanded the definition of the center position, Jokic still distinguishes himself by combining elite production with unparalleled playmaking, which is why voices like Perkins now place him in conversations not just about current greatness, but among the most skilled centers in the history of the game.
I mean, I said it once and I'm going to say it again. With all due respect to Hakeem Olajuwon, my idol growing up, you know, Clutch City, you know, and everything and more. Shanae, you know about this.
Let's go.
He's the most skilled center to ever play the game of basketball. When you don't have that stupid or athleticism like, you know, the rest of the centers, when you have, like, you have to rely on skill set and IQ. Like, it's solely based off of him just outsmarting people and his skill.
What makes Joel Embiid's acknowledgement especially significant is that it's been Nikola Jokic's direct rival at the very top of the league, with both players consistently competing for All-NBA first-team selections and MVP honors, often representing the two best centers in the game while leading teams like the Philadelphia 76ers and the Denver Nuggets respectively. For a player of Embiid's caliber, an MVP in his own right and one of the most dominant forces in basketball, to openly call Jokic the best player in the NBA, it underscores just how unique Jokic's impact is, because Embiid has first-hand experience defending him, studying him, and competing against him at the highest level. That level of respect from a positional rival highlights that Jokic's game isn't just statistically elite, but fundamentally difficult to match, as he blends scoring, rebounding, and playmaking in a way that consistently influences winning and separates him from even the very best players in the league.
I just thought him as the best player in the league. Like I told you earlier, he won a championship. That's the best team in the league, and he's the Finals MVP. So I was just telling him, keep going, see you in 2 weeks, and keep doing your thing, and that's why you're the best in the league.
What makes Kevin Durant's praise meaningful is that he's not only one of the most gifted scorers in NBA history, but also someone who has competed directly against Nikola Jokic in high-stakes playoff settings with the Denver Nuggets, giving him first-hand insight into how Jokic impacts a series over multiple games. Durant's unicorn skill set, his height combined with godlike shooting and handling, gives him a unique lens to evaluate versatility. And when a player of his caliber speaks about Jokic's greatness and potential legacy, it reflects genuine recognition rather than casual praise. For someone who is both a student of the game's history and an active competitor against the very best, Durant's comments reinforce the idea that Jokic's combination of size, skill, and basketball IQ places him in rare company, influencing games in a way that even other elite superstars acknowledge as exceptional.
I always had respect. I always knew how great he was. Always watching these guys, you know what I'm saying? All the great players in the league. Not surprised that these guys are good, especially somebody like Jokic. I've been watching him, playing against him for a minute now, since he hit his peak as a player. So, no, I wouldn't say I learned anything new. Great team, deep team, multiple guys that play well together, great continuity. Been together for how long Mike Malone been there? 6 years. That's a good advantage to have. You know your coach, you know the players on the team. You got a system in place for that long. So, no, I wasn't surprised at all. Jokic is an all-time great. He's gonna go down as one of the all-time great centers to ever touch a basketball. So he went out there and did what he's supposed to do.
What makes Larry Bird's perspective so compelling is how closely his own career mirrors aspects of Nikola Jokic's game, despite playing different positions and eras. Because Bird, during his time with Boston Celtics, proved that elite basketball IQ, toughness, and skill can overcome any perceived athletic limitations. And that same philosophy is reflected in how Jokic dominates today. Bird's recognition of Jokic as one of the greatest centers ever carries significant weight because he understands what it means to succeed without relying on elite athleticism, instead using timing, footwork, anticipation, and an ability to read defenses at an extremely high level. When a legend known for competing with a chip on his shoulder and excelling against the best calls Jokic one of the greatest, it reinforces how Jokic's style transcends eras, blending efficiency, vision, and competitiveness in a way that resonates with players who value winning in fundamentals above all else.